back to Naturalista. This week we have such a special show for you. Mindfulness, gratefulness. Okay, so what is all that? And how do we incorporate it into our daily life? When you're going through a process in your journey, or you're going through certain situations in life that you can't understand why they're happening, you have to take the time to stop. And you're going to learn what that stands for is very, very soon. Also, apply these different things to your daily life. Tell us how it went. We can't wait to see the results. Welcome to Naturalista, guys. Here we are again with a wonderful show full of amazing things that will make your life better. Today we have an author and someone who went through a journey to decide to work on mindfulness. And we are going to share with you so many different tips on how to apply this to your life. Please help me welcome Piero Falci to our show. How are you, Piero?
I am doing excellent. I'm very happy, Judith, to be here, and I want to thank you for inviting me.
We're so excited because I think so many people need to incorporate these different things into their daily life. And I think we're going to start from the top. So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to want to write books about mindfulness and finding your interior or inner peace.
So it is a journey. It was a journey for me. So 20 years ago, I was a very successful multinational executive, if you will. I was doing business all over the world, but especially in Latin America and the Caribbean. And then that process, that is a normal process these days, a bigger company acquires a smaller company.
Right.
It's called merger and acquisition, and then they kind of remove the top executives. It's a process of downsizing. And then I found myself without a job.
Oh my goodness.
And fear kicked in. So I was here in the United States. The company actually brought me here to the United States 25 years ago. And I'm originally from Brazil, and I was working with them in Argentina, Chile, and then I came to the U.S., to Florida. But anyhow, what happened to me is that in that process, I had panic attacks. And then one friend of mine came with this idea, said, Piero, why don't you come with me for a weekend silent retreat?
That's a good friend.
But I thought it was a terrible idea, actually.
At the time.
Yes, I said, Jack, you don't understand. If I go to a place like this and I go to the silence, I think I'm going to lose it. I didn't know anything about the workings of the brain, but I said, imagine with all that fear, all that anxiety, becoming silent, it was unimaginable for me. Well, he was very kind.
To get you through the door of looking into mindfulness and alignment.
That's exactly what happened. So I went, and I found it incredible. I never had such an experience before, right? And then I started to practice, and from there I started to learn, and from there I started to teach. So I teach mindfulness meditation and mindful living. And this is what led me to write the books, A Better Mind, A Better Life, and A Better World.
Yes, we're going to try to incorporate some of the tips. So there's 365 tips.
There are 365 essays. So the three books compound 365 essays. They are pretty much standalone, but it gives a lot of advice on things that you can do to improve your well-being, your mental, emotional, physical well-being, as well as the quality of your life. The many problems that exist in the world, I try to focus on the ecological crisis and what we can do to tame the ecological crisis. And I think that one of the things that we can do, for instance, is to practice mindfulness meditation.
Wow. And if you could give our viewers maybe 5 tips to try to incorporate into their daily life. You know, we all have very crazy, chaotic lives at times. Some other times is totally silent or very quiet. And in between those times, what do you recommend that someone could do that is small, that doesn't take a total adjustment of the mind, that they can probably incorporate to their day to start working on these 365 different essays and tips that you have?
Absolutely. So there are a few things. I think that if you can meditate a little bit, and meditation is nothing exoteric, it's simply sitting and trying to focus your attention. So one of the practices, for instance, is the practice of focusing on our breath, on the mechanics of the breath. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. So people say, well, this is stupid. Why should I do this? The fact that when you are paying attention to the breath, what happens, you become more aware of what's going on up here. Because your mind gets distracted. You go to the past, you go to the future. And so mindfulness is a practice of paying attention to whatever is happening in the present moment without...
Present moment.
Exactly. Yes. And why the present moment is so important? Because the present moment is when life happens, right? Mm-hmm. If you think about it, whatever happened in the past, when it happened, it actually happened in the present moment.
Right.
And whatever will happen in the future, when it happens, it will also happen
in the present moment. That makes sense.
So life acronyms. So this acronym is NASA. The same NASA. The same one of the astronauts, right?
Right.
Is notice, appreciate, savor, and absorb. So notice the good in your life. We don't have to make an effort to notice the bad in our lives. They say that we have something called the negativity bias. Whatever is negative sticks like Velcro, and what is positive slides away as if it were on a Teflon surface.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
So we don't have to practice to notice the negative, but we need some practice, intentional practice, to notice the positive. So NASA is notice, appreciate, savor, and absorb. Notice the good, appreciate the good, savor it, take some time to savor it, and absorb it, because there's something happening in our brains. It's called neuroplasticity. The brain is changing by the way that we think, by the way that we notice. So they say that in order to strengthen the synapses in the brain and neural pathways, you need some time. So some research says that you need 30 seconds for something to sink in. So I like to say, whenever you notice something good, say, this feels good. And then you pause for a second and reflect and say, this is how feeling good feels like. So there is that absorption and gives times for the activation. There is a saying that says, neurons that fire together, wire together.
Huh.
So NASA is something that you can do. Meditation is something that you can do. The other practice is when you are very agitated, remember stop.
Stop.
Stop. S-T-O-P.
Okay.
So S stands for stop, actually. Mm-hmm. What do you think T stands for?
Trigger.
And T stands for take a breath.
Okay.
Do you remember mom or grandma saying, Judith,
go to the corner.
Judith, take a breath. Take a breath.
Time out.
Take a breath. Calm down, right? So S-T-O-P. Stop, take a breath, observe. See what's going on. Take time to observe. And P stands for proceed or park. Because proceed gives the idea that you need to do something. And park says, I don't need to do anything right now. I can simply park.
So how do you select between parking and proceeding?
Well, it's wisdom.
Okay.
So what you are doing in mindfulness, we are kind of enhancing the time between receiving a stimulus and choosing a response. So we are trained to act very fast, right? And this is not good, because then we are reacting. So in our practice, we make a distinction between the word reaction and the word response. The word reaction is fast, is habitual, is what we always do without thinking, is thoughtless, is mindless. Response, on the other hand, is something that takes time. You choose your response, is more thoughtful, is more mindful. So you slow down. So what we are trying to do is to enhance or augment the time between the stimulus and the response. And there's a saying that says, between stimulus and response, there's a space. in this space lies our power to choose our responses. And in our responses lie the quality of our lives, our freedom. So if we take time, if we don't react all the time, but we say, okay, wait a second, what is the wisest response for this situation? Then we're making choices. And every choice that we make affects the quality of our lives moving forward. So that's why it's so important to be in the present moment.
Right.
So mindfulness, this thing that we talk about, mindfulness is a training mainly to pay attention to whatever is happening in the present moment without rushing to react.
To react.
And choosing what is wisest, what is healthiest.
At the time. So basically, would you recommend that when someone has to make a choice, they try to feel all of the different stimulus that their body is sending to them so they can make a better choice depending on how they feel?
Exactly.
Wow.
So really, a lot of the practice is feeling the sensations in the body. So we think that everything is up here, but the body is a receiving organism. We are receiving all the energy. It's not only here, and sometimes the body is telling you something that the mind or the brain has not processed yet. So you can feel a contraction in the chest.
Right.
You can feel something like a pressure in the gut.
Yep.
You don't know what it is, or you can feel that your hands are cold or sweaty. If you are able to connect with those sensations in the body, even before the brain has processed what is happening, then you know, okay, I better slow down, I better pay attention.
We're going to park.
Yeah, we're going to park. So I always make a joke about, we're coming to, well, I don't know, but the end of the year is the time of the holiday celebrations, right?
Big time.
Yeah, and I say, okay, office parties, Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas celebrations, or whatever they may be.
Or even depression for some that do not have the family.
Exactly. So my point is, feel your body, take a breath, use the STOP, stop, take a breath, observe what you're feeling, and then proceed. But take good care of yourself. So some of the elements that we teach in mindfulness is have self-compassion, be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself, do not demand too much of yourself. We always want to do more, have more, and be more.
Yes.
And sometimes it's important to look back at our lives, notice everything that we have done already, everything that we have acquired already, and everything that we have learned already. And we can say, okay, I do enough, I have enough, I am enough. I'm happy, content, and satisfied with my life. I experience joy, ease, and happiness. I am at peace.
So you go into gratitude. And once you get to gratitude, everything that you are being grateful for opens doors to more to be grateful for.
There's a story I like to tell a lot. The story in those times in my life when I was doing well financially, I took my family to Jamaica, to one of those resorts. And my wife and my kids were doing something. Those resorts, they have all kinds of activities.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
So my wife and my kids were doing something, my father and my sister were doing something, my aunt was doing something else, and my grandma was at one of those hammocks, those palm trees, those hammocks. Right. It was the end of the day. That beach was facing west in Jamaica. The sun was coming down, and I sat by the sand. And I had a conversation with her. And at that time in her life, everything was good for her. She wouldn't complain about anything. She had already lost her husband. She had already lost 2 of her children. That is the greatest pain in life. And I asked her, how are you? And she said, I'm happy, content, and satisfied.
Wow.
So these 3 words stuck with me, that contentment and satisfaction, that actually are synonyms, bring happiness And then I like to say that contentment and gratitude are the keys that open the gates to the queendom of happiness.
Wow.
Did you notice that I say queendom?
Queendom.
And
yes.
not kingdom?
Yes, I noticed. It's all about the queen, isn't it?
Yes. So that's it. You hit the nail on the head when you said gratitude. We cannot be happy if we're not content and grateful. It's impossible. So the road to happiness is a road of realizing how much we have, how fortunate we are, how blessed we are, to be content with the life that was given to us and be grateful.
And look forward to a brighter future, but remembering to be grateful for what you have. Thank you for being here. We are so grateful that you were here to share this information with all of the Naturalistas and people who are looking to be better and understand that by being grateful, you have the key.
Exactly.
The key is being grateful. So we're grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we cannot wait to show you more about his books, his classes, and also where you could find more information about when these classes start. I think it's a good gift to give someone that is struggling right now in life and that is looking to find simple solutions that will change their life for the better. Have a great day, Naturalistas. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Walk us through a meditation or a mindfulness technique that you could practice at home. So find a chair, sit down, and just listen to what he has to tell you to do so that you could practice it today.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about the soft belly breathing. We work with populations that have undergone trauma, and this is a technique from the Center of Mind-Body Medicine. And it's called relaxation. It's a relaxation technique. So it goes a little bit like this. I'm going to explain and we're going to practice together. We're going to be breathing in through the nose and we're going to feel the flow of air in our nostrils. And then we're going to breathe out through the mouth and the lips are going to be semi-closed and we're going to be blowing out as if we are blowing through into a straw, like. And we're going to try to make the exhalation longer than the inhalation. So in order to activate the relaxation response, we want to make the exhalation longer than the inhalation. So I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to provide some guidance, okay? So finding a posture where, your chest is unimpeded and can move freely, like I'm sitting here with the upper body in this upright posture. The lower body is providing a stable base for the upper body. So the shoulders are relaxed, relaxing the facial muscles. And let's start breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth. We're trying to make the exhalation longer than the inhalation. We also are going to try to keep the chest and the belly very relaxed, very soft. What we're doing is non-forceful. We're not forcing anything. We're just doing this in a very relaxed manner. And one of the things that you can do, you can feel the flow of air in your nostrils, in the rims of your nostrils, when you breathe in. And you can feel the flow of air in your lips when you're breathing out. And you're breathing in deeply, again without forcing, with a soft belly. And breathing out very slowly. Let's do one more. Breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. And with the next exhalation, let's open our eyes. So this is something that you can use in any moment of your day. So when you feel you're stressed, just it didn't take us more than 1 minute, and 1 minute counts. Breathing in deeply, bringing the air as much as possible to the base of your lung, but again with a soft belly, and then breathing out slowly, because when the exhalation is longer than the inhalation, you're activating something that we call the relaxation response.
The relaxation response. Well, we hope that you tried this method, incorporate it into your daily life, and we hope that you feel more relaxed. Now you could go have some water and hydrate, and we're going to thank Falci again for being here today. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. For more information on Piero Falci, go to his website, pierofalci.com. Here you're going to find information about him, his story, all of the different programs he has available and what he offers and when. And definitely be mindful of all of the resources that he has for you to apply mindfulness to your life. Hey Naturalistas, I wanted to share about last week. What an exciting event. It was an exhibit at the Palm Beach Historical Society honoring the fashion greats like Martha Phillips and Lynn Manulis, among many others. During that time, we met up with Zang Toy, who's an old friend of the family, who just happens to be a designer for the past 30 years. He has worked with natural textiles for a very long time. So I thought I would share his story and a little bit about him, since we had such a great time and we wanted to share it with you. For those that do not know Zang Toy, he is originally from Malaysia, has been designing in New York for over 30 years. He has been from the top of Vogue to every magazine, fashion show, runway. He is an amazing designer that works with natural fabrics, and he went to the Parsons School of Design, and he has really been very successful. We love him because of his energy, his inspiration, and you're going to hear what he has to tell those that are planning to become, natural textiles designers going down the road. He basically says, try to be happy. The House of Toy, TOI, is a house of beautiful pieces of art. His designs are amazing, and they are so intricate yet natural, whimsical, and he just kind of plays on colors and textures, and it is amazing what he can do and has been doing for 30 years, and every year it gets better and better. Zang is such an energetic person, full of love and energy, and it was such a pleasure to interview him at the Endless Summer exhibit. And here's some of his inspiration, how he connects with the environment and how he puts these pieces together. And in this case, I'm speechless. There is nothing to say about his designs and how they are just so well thought out and look so elegant, classic. Zang has a unique flair. He plays with color. He plays with textures. And as you can see, he touches everything he creates. It's a gift that he loves. Just loves fashion, but loves fashion, remembering that he came from Malaysia and remembering his humble beginnings and remembering those that opened doors for him throughout the years. In this case, he mentions in the interview, and I will let you hear that, Martha Phillips and Lynn Manulis, which were two big Palm Beach, New York specialty stores that only focused on up and coming designers, in this case Valentino Chanel, and Zang Toy was one of them. So it's really exciting to see someone not only have a career but have such a successful career and be so humble and remember his beginnings. And we are so excited to have had met Zang And we can't wait to show you his runway show.
You here at this collection
from New York City. It's going to be pretty exciting to see what he has
I feel
to show.
so great. It is such
So
an
I thought I
honor
would
to
give
be
you a
here
little
tonight.
fashion
I wouldn't miss it
or
for
natural
the world.
fashion here at Naturalista.
Miss
I
Martha
hope
and Miss
you
Lynn
enjoy.
really were the godmother to all the fashion designer. For those who know fashion history, Miss Martha was the first one to bring Chanel and Valentino into America, and her daughter Miss Lynn was the first one to champion all of us young designer. I was in business for all of 6 months when Lynn invited me to the beautiful Martha International store to do a trunk show, and that was the beginning of a really beautiful, long-lasting friendship.
So that's when the portal for your success opened, and you have been Zang Toy, and now you're #1 in what store?
At Saks Fifth Avenue.
You see, sometimes it takes one person to find you, to put you in the limelight, and then you took over.
Yeah, it's true. I'm so thankful to Miss Lynn. I remember it was my very first spring collection, spring 1999, and it was featured in Vogue magazine. Anna Wintour was my godmother from the press side, and Lynn is the godmother from the retail side. And the beautiful, fitted red linen jacket suit with a hot pink mini skirt with a gold orchid button, and Lynn bought it. Red and pink skirt, and then black with black short. Can you imagine 33.5 years ago, Lynn sold 200 of that suit in both just red and black.
To learn more about Zang Toy, go check out his website, zangtoy.com.